Hey, welcome to World Entertainment, and it looks like Ridley Scott is living in the past and in regret because he's admitted now that he wasn't happy about Alien and Blade Runner sequels being made without him. Okay, well, why would they have been when he very clearly stated that he wanted nothing to do with any of these things? When it comes to the Alien, he got super jealous because Aliens did so well. But let's have a look at this article because it's interesting. It's also funny what they don't mention in this. So Alien and Blade Runner both spawned sequels, but filmmaker Sir Ridley Scott wasn't behind the camera for them. James Cameron helmed the now classic Aliens, with David Fincher later taking charge of the poorly received yet still fondly remembered Alien 3. Who's fondly remembering Alien 3? Okay. As for Blade Runner, Dune director Denis Villeneuve took charge of Blade Runner 2049, a movie that proved to be a worthy follow-up to Scott's groundbreaking 1982 original. How did it prove itself to be a worthy follow-up when it bombed at the box office? By the way, the original Blade Runner bombed at the box office, but we'll get to that. So, talking to Vanity Fair about Gladiator 2, which, yes, is happening, Scott confirmed he was never asked to direct sequels to either movie or told about their development while it was happening. He blames that on being a relatively new filmmaker and having little interest in making follow-ups at the time. Now, it's interesting to hear there he's saying, oh, it's because I was young and I wasn't too interested. He has spoken flat out about he had absolutely no interest in doing more of the Alien movies. So why all of a sudden he's coming up with all these other excuses is weird. But he said this: I was slow out of the starting gate. I mean, I should have done the sequels to Alien and to Blade Runner. You change over the years. At that time, I didn't want to go through it again. So James Cameron came in and then David Fincher on Alien. I'm the author of 2 franchises. Most directors in Hollywood, certainly, let's say at my level, don't let that stuff go. But I did. Alien as my second movie, so I didn't have much choice. And then Blade Runner was my third movie, so I had no choice because I had very tough partners. It was kind of welcome to Hollywood. I was never told or asked about sequels. You can imagine I wasn't happy. Okay, so it says then, Scott has previously said he regrets not helming Blade Runner 2049. He will, however, executive produce the upcoming Blade Runner 2099 TV series, likely giving him far more creative control in the process. Whether he plans to retcon Villeneuve's creative decisions remains to be seen. The director is also believed to have given his seal of approval to Fede Alvarez's upcoming Alien Romulus, though his involvement with that franchise and Noah Hawley's TV spin-off is likely minimal. Okay, so first off, it's interesting what they don't add into this, and that is Alien Resurrection. It's funny they keep saying, oh, James Cameron did the second and then David Fincher did the third, and they never go on to say, and whatever the dude's name was, it's French, who did Alien Resurrection. It's interesting to me that they left out Alien Resurrection. To say I'm the author of 2 franchises, he had nothing to do with the creative side of Alien. He didn't write it. He didn't come up with the story for it. He didn't write the story for it. He didn't cast it. None of that. Alien was ready to go. It was greenlit. It was cast. The scripts were written. The scripts were approved. All of that stuff was all in place. They brought him in basically at the last minute to direct it. That was it. That's all his thing was with Alien. So this idea that he's the be-all and end-all of Alien, it annoys me when I hear him go on about it this way. It's like, dude, you were literally brought in just to point the camera and direct. That's it. That's all your involvement was with that movie. You didn't create it. You didn't come up with the story. Nothing. Then I do believe he was asked about aliens, and he said no. So why he's saying they never told him, I'm pretty sure I've seen interviews with him where he flat out said, I had no interest in doing another alien movie. So why he's now butthurt over it. And if you've ever watched the special features on the special edition of Aliens, you see how the workers in Pinewood Studios in England made production practically impossible for James Cameron and his crew when they were doing Aliens, because for some reason they were super loyal to Ridley Scott and thought, if we just piss this American off so much and whatnot, he'll leave, he'll stop making this, he'll go away, and they'll bring Ridley back. It didn't work. Interesting as well, you hear about him filming that movie and talking with Sigourney Weaver about Avatar. That's how long he's been coming up with Avatar. As for Blade Runner, well, why would they ask Ridley Scott back to do a sequel to that? Number one, they didn't do a sequel for 30 plus years anyway. But the first movie bombed. Like, the original movie's budget was $30 million, which is so small for a movie that has that look to it. But it only ever brought in $41.8 million in the box office. It was an absolute disaster. Not just did it bomb at the box office, but critics hated it, fans hated it. Only later in years did it get this cult following and become somewhat successful. And proof is in the pudding of how it's kind of one of those niche things that later became popular, because they did then, of course, make Blade Runner 2049, and that bombed spectacularly at the box office. You know, to the point that when they said Denis Villeneuve was going to take charge of Dune, people went, really? The guy who made that horrible Blade Runner movie? So why would you have asked Ridley Scott back to do that? And again, as far as he was concerned, if I remember seeing interviews again with him about Blade Runner, he felt the story was done. What was the point in doing more? So why is he getting butthurt that he wasn't asked to do sequels to these things? It makes no sense to me. Not to mention, he did return to the Alien universe, and he made the horrendously bad Prometheus and Alien Covenant. And I know there's people who like it, you know, you do you. If you like it, you like it. But the damage it did to the Alien franchise, and then to constantly hear him say, nobody's interested in the Xenomorph. The Xenomorph is yesterday's news. It's all about the androids. Everyone was going, what is he talking about? Of course, the Xenomorph is what people want to see. Who cares about the androids? The androids aren't interesting. But now, all of a sudden, he seems to be butthurt that he didn't do the sequels. I'm assuming he's jealous over James Cameron's Aliens because it's regarded more popular and the better movie of the first two. So he's probably butthurt over that, and how people constantly bring up Aliens as opposed to Alien. As for Blade Runner, I don't know why he cares so much. Yeah, because like, the last movie didn't do well either, so it is what it is, I suppose. But there's the story of Ridley Scott living in regret all of a sudden. By the way, the guy hasn't done a successful movie since, what, Gladiator, the first one, back in, what, 2000? I think the last movie he did that actually was okay, like, was done okay on the big screen, I liked it, was The Martian. But again, that wasn't a movie that I don't think he wrote and stuff. You know, if he adapts things, if he gets something that's adapted from a book or something, he does pretty well with it. But when it's his own ideas, yeah, they tend not to work. But with that, I shall leave it there for this one. So cheers, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll catch you in the next one.